Hello, I'm Paola Ranova, and today we're going to talk about Lemurian Seed quartz. But before we dive into this topic, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you like this video, that you comment what you believe is important for us to know about your experience so we can all share information and perspectives. And share this with your friends and the people you believe will benefit from this content. So diving into Lemurian seed quartz or Lemurian quartz crystals is really very much about bringing powerful information, especially for light workers. So before we start talking about Lemurian quartz themselves, just want to say that in the crystal field, there's no unified voice. Every person tends to have a very specific perspective, and all perspectives are valid. So I'm going to bring in a nutshell what I believe are the most important characteristics of Lemurian quartz. And then you can research more and see what other people have to say, what their take is on Lemurians, because we can always grow from many different perspectives, right? So a person's relationship with one crystal or with all crystals is very unique. So the more you listen to different people and see what resonates and makes sense for you, the better. So I'll bring my perspective and my experience from which my perspective derives, so that you know what I believe is important to know about Lemurian seed quartz. So I developed a system called the Cardinal method of life connection that uses crystals as tools for soul healing, consciousness expansion, and the joy of life. And in the Cardinal method, there are three very important crystal characteristics that encompass the whole method and that purpass the whole method. The first one being the fact that all crystals bring forth the truth. So they're information transmitters. They bring the truth, they bring accurate information, truthful information, right? Like laser beams. And when you connect to the truth brings healing, and it protects you from unwanted or unnecessary situations because you have the clarity of what is truth and what is not truth. And then you can defend yourself from unwanted situations. Your mind is clearer. You have more accuracy, more objective thinking, a clearer mind, I would say. So that's the first crystal attribute that I believe is crucial in the Cardinal method. They're all information transmitters. They bring forth the truth. They help us heal, and they help protect ourselves from unwanted situations. The second important attribute of crystals in the Cardinal method is that they have internal molecular structures. So you can't see that with the naked eye. It's microscopic. It's what I call internal geometry. So different crystals have specific internal geometry systems that align our energy field. So the internal molecular structure of crystals is important in the Cardinal method. And the third one is the color. So each color has a very specific resonance with our emotions. So the colors help heal emotions and help heal the soul. So in the Cardinal method, crystals bring accurate information. They bring forth the truth, number one. They have internal molecular structures that align our energy fields, which is wonderful. So that's why I love them as tools for the work that I do. And number three, the colors heal the soul and our emotions. Specific colors help heal specific emotions. So rose quartz, that pink hue, helps with love and heart-related issues, right? Citrine is yellow. It helps with personal power. So different colors will deal with different types of emotions. So all these three attributes are powerful for crystals in the Cardinal method, and the shape of the crystal is not that crucial. But if we're talking about Lemurians, what defines a Lemurian quartz crystal is the shape. So let me show you. We have here a clear quartz pyramid, 7 facets, 7 sides. It has been polished by the human hand. And this is clear quartz in this specific shape. Then we have another shape here, Merkaba. This one's actually been chipped, but it's okay. No problem, right? Because the internal geometry and the absence of color, because this is clear quartz, right? They're the same. And regardless of the shape, those three benefits that I just mentioned are present in either specimen, in either piece of crystal. When we think about Lemurians, and this is a Lemurian seed quartz, it's a different shape. The Lemurians come from nature in a very specific shape, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So these three are clear quartz crystals. They have the same internal geometry. They have the same lack of color, but this is Lemurian, these two are not, because the shape is different. So diving into Lemurian characteristics, right? Lemurians have 6 sides that are not homogeneous. So the sides are not the same size, okay? And a very important piece of information when it comes to Lemurians, so that you can identify a Lemurian seed quartz or a Lemurian quartz crystal. They have Akashic lines, and in other words, these are striations, these lines here. If we put this in a vertical position, the lines are horizontal. Each side of the crystal has very different lines, Akashic lines, okay? So what makes a crystal Lemurian is that it has 6 facets. They are not the same size, and some are larger, some are more narrow, right? They have these lines, which are Akashic records. They are information that comes from the earth. So speaking very directly here, the Lemurian seed quartz is related to Lemuria, which is a civilization that used to take place where the Pacific Ocean is now. And they believed in personal growth and consciousness, and the gap between the material world and the spiritual world was not as it is in our societies, in our cultures, in the way humanity thinks today. So there wasn't a huge gap between the material reality and the spiritual reality. And they used forces of nature and crystals as well as tools for the development of their society. Okay? So Lemurian quartz relates to the Lemurian civilization. And when we talk about the fact that they're quartz crystals, they don't necessarily have to be clear quartz. They could be amethysts or smoky quartz. I have this Lemurian here. It has an iron coating, so it's not as colorless, right? It has another hue here. It makes it darker. It has the 6 sides. It has the Akashic lines. You have to be it's very subtle, but you can see them. The bottom of Lemurians, this is the point, right? So this point is very narrow. It's like a pin. This point is more like a tongue or something like that. This one, I have another one. Do you see how it abruptly drops like that? Kind of like a nose, right? Again, see the facets? So it could be smoky quartz, amethyst, citrine, tangerine quartz, or clear quartz. What I have to say about my personal experience with Lemurians is that I tend to attract clear quartz Lemurian quartz crystals. I have rarely come across, for my personal use or for the Cardinal method for clients or for students, other colors of Lemurians. Except for this one, right, with the iron coating. So that's one thing that I want to mention. In my personal experience, I tend to attract clear quartz Lemurian crystals. I also tend to attract not very typical Lemurians, because these little inclusions, like these little baby quartz that grow out of them, are usually the ones that I get. So as you can see here, inclusions were all over. See, one of the sides is full of little tiny baby quartz crystals. I was actually handling one of them and I cut my finger because I was, looking at them and connecting to them when I was creating this video for you, studying a little bit. This one has the inclusions as well, but that's my personal experience. Usually Lemurians have very straight sides and facets like this one. Okay, so the bottom is more raw, more rough. The point is more faceted. It has 6 sides with different sides, some more narrow, some more large. The Akashic lines, as I mentioned, are very important. Akasha is a sea of information, right? Akashic records are where all the information on the planet is stored. So the last thing I want to say about Lemurians is that they're very powerful for light workers. People who have the proper training and who contribute to the world with their talents and their training and their research and their experience, they have a different relationship with Lemurians because they can really connect to the Akashic lines and to tune in to the exact information that is coming through with that crystal and that relationship with the light worker and the crystal. So I think the most important thing about Lemurians is that these are stones that really strengthen the energy field of light workers, and they're very, very powerful, especially if you have the training and the experience and a sacred path with them. If you connect with them consistently, they will communicate with you in an exponentially stronger way. So I hope this was useful and I hope it was clear, and I will see you soon.